These genius aliens are smarter than any man. Who knows what game of chess they're playing with us?
Oh, don't throw that out. I can sell it.
It has an unstable gray hole inside.
You're an unstable gray hole.
Nice.
It feels like I'm the only Slorpian who wants to escape this planet.
What up? We're aliens.
Make room at the table. You know, Terry, everyone in the neighborhood hates us.
You boys want some peanut butter cookie?
Oh, she's threatening us. I'm freaking out.
Hey, you guys. Cool headphones. What are you listening to?
This table's for podders only.
I could turn into a pod.
No making pod people or any of that outer limits bullshit.
Why are you dissecting your classmates?
She was mean to us at school.
I'm gonna beat you up really bad.
Whose ass was I gonna kick again?
Just keep doing that until she's cool.
Wow, it really is making her dumber. I can't believe humans drink this stuff.
We can make people like us.
Courtesy of Corvo.
Oh my God, I can feel my legs. These are kinda hard to control.
You're welcome. We may be trapped on this world, on the brink of mass extinction, plagued by a species that destroys the environment, but at least we have each other.
Oh, that's sick.
What'd I miss?
I thought you weren't shrinking kids down anymore.
These are adults. They love it.
Good night, Mr. Janitor.
Dance thing you're doing this how they do where you from? Hey. Sticking out the tongue, girl, but you know you're too young.
What are we gonna do? I can't go to prison. I don't have a butthole. How will I smuggle in treats?
You know what I do when I'm out of ideas? Cocaine. And then I get like a million ideas at once.
That's how they do where we from. Hey.
We're unlikable, aren't we? We'll have to build new best friends.
I'm Fun Bucket.
Fun Bucket, I'm Corvo, and this is Terry, and we are your new best friends.
You guys aren't gonna try to me, are you?
No.
With them different rippers, microphone gripping it. That's how they do where they from.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Jeff in Las Vegas. How are you?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for talking to me today. I'm really excited about this show. I love it.
Of course. How are you hanging in there?
Oh, Vegas is closed.
I know, man.
I'm a native, so it's really bizarre for me to see Strip in downtown. And, you know, I've been locked up for 7 weeks. I'm going crazy. So
It's a good time for people to be in and watching a crazy, fun animated show, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. And I have been waiting for this show. You know, it's this series is a long time coming, finally.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's you know, listen, sometimes those stories are the best stories. You know, these guys, Justin and Mike, I think wrote something for Fox 4 years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know the exact time. I think it was at least 3 years ago. And then went through that process at Fox, and executives changed, and, you know, things changed, and maybe it wasn't right for them in the moment. And then, you know, the executives at 20th, which is the production company, were just always loved the script and always loved the idea. And Hulu, Rick and Morty and American Dad, and so many, they're so huge on Hulu that, you know, Hulu was smart, and Hulu has been a great partner for us. Amazing. You know, and I'm a huge Rick and Morty fan, as you can see, wearing the shirt today. See, yeah.
And what I love about it, you know, it's Justin Roiland who created the show, and it feels like a Rick and Morty universe, but it has its own identity. It's just about as far away from Rick and Morty you can get, but it's his sense of humor that's kind of in both series. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think that's one of the reasons, you know, he did it with Mike McMahon, who Mike came up through Rick and Morty and was in the executive producer Rick and Morty, and I think that's one of the reasons I responded to it so much, and why I think they wanted to bring in an outsider at some point is, you know, I love Rick and Morty as well, and you know, it's a massive show. It's a cultural phenomenon. But what I loved about Solar was it felt different enough. It had this sweetness to it. It had this insanity to it. And it just felt, as you said, different. I mean, obviously the characters look similar. Justin does one of the voices. And the aesthetic is the same, but even the comedy in some places goes to different places than Rick and Morty would go to. And so that's why I love that it could have sort of exist in this world, and that Rick and Morty fans could watch it and also like it, but it felt different enough. I think that was really important for us. And just to set up the show, you've got these cutting-edge aliens who escape their world from being destroyed by an asteroid. They come to Earth. They're trying to assimilate. Most of the family wants to be human and live on Earth, but Corvo doesn't, trying to repair his ship to escape. And very Third Rock from the Sun, very Lost in Space, you know, a traditional sci-fi storyline.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I thought that Justin and Mike did that was really smart from the very beginning. And have you had a chance to see any of the episodes?
Oh, I've watched. I'm almost done with them. I'm on the almost on the last one. So yeah, it's.
Oh, okay, great.
It's fantastic. I binged them.
Oh, great. I'm gonna take these headphones off real quick. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay. One of the things that I loved about this from the very, very beginning, the first moment Corvo's working on the ship and the neighbor is there and she immediately is like, hey, Corvo, hitting on Corvo. I love this idea that no one in the world was freaked out that they were aliens. No one was hunting them. They didn't have to hide. They were accepted in some ways. They were still bullied, but that was because they were different more than being aliens. And I love that choice because you brought up Third Rock, which is a great show, but in all of those shows, that was always there, like we have to hide, right? We can't be who we are. And I loved that was just different from the very beginning. And so we didn't have to sort of spend time narrative plot-wise worrying about that. We could just have them be weird neighbors in the suburbs.
But it's also a metaphor, for racism, because they're out in the open and everyone's like, oh, you aliens. They're always being criticized. They're always being shunned, and the family wants acceptance except Corvo. He doesn't care. He thinks they're intellectually superior to humans.
Yes. And I think that, it was built in, so we didn't really have to hit that at all. And that was one of the things I loved doing the show as well, is that we could have all the fun and all the insanity, knowing that always that was just there. And we never really had to hit it over the head, and it wasn't that important to us because it was set up so well from the beginning.
I find it bizarre because you've got Corvo and you've got the kids and you've got the pupa, but where's the mother figure in the show? I thought that was really weird. This family doesn't have a mother. Is Terry?
Well, I think Terry and Corvo sort of go back and forth being the mother figure. I think that, because they're asexual, they're plants, they really go back and forth being the father and the mother figure, when the truth is they're not good at either one. And I think that's what the other thing I loved about it is that everybody has different roles in this and they're sort of moving all the time.
And you got the storyline of the family trying to return home or assimilate on Earth, but also you have the complete second storyline, almost a new show of the people in the wall. They use a shrink ray, which is such a classic Twilight Zone story device. And they keep all the people they don't like inside the wall in a bedroom, which has become its own community. So every episode we get more and more into the wall, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, from the beginning, one of the things that I also would think was something that was really important to us is to make sure that every episode had at least some element of sci-fi in, right? Whether it's a shrink ray, whether it's a red goobler, all of that stuff. It was important that we always had one element to it, and then we would twist it in the most interesting ways. And from the very beginning, we said, okay, well, this is all going to drop at once. And none of us had really worked on a show that was bingeable in that way. And so we knew we wanted that sort of A stories with the aliens to be one-offs and just be fun, weird stories. And then we would create this whole runner where I think you watch it and you're like, oh, that's sort of funny. Oh, look, in the first episode, they have a terrarium that they keep these people in the wall. And then you go, oh, they went back to it. Oh, they're doing a whole story in there. Oh, wait a minute. This is a whole thing. I never expected it. And have you watched episode 7 yet?
Oh, yeah. About the bear?
The one that's all in the wall?
All on the wall, and the other storyline is they're going to a zoo to get a bear,
Yeah.
And all you see is the aliens, maybe glimpses them through the wall with no dialogue.
No dialogue. And
no dialogue.
That was for us, and that episode we really, the first season, we were like, we want to do Game of Thrones or Snowpiercer in this wall. And, that was our chance to be really dramatic in some ways, but also comedic and insane. And, when the mouse, not giving anything away, but when in episode 7, it's sad, when that happens. And so that was the most fun for us to do that stuff. And we got great voice talent.
Oh yeah. You got the great Al Molina, who was in Rick and Morty, who did the Needful Things takeoff, Rainn Wilson. I mean, I heard the Duke's voice. I went, that is the great Al Molina. One of my
he's amazing. I worked with him years ago in a pilot, and we just knew, oh my God, he'd be perfect as the Duke. Christina Hendricks, Andy Daly, we just got amazing people to be in there.
And the story moves so quickly. Is the script longer than an average 30-minute sitcom? Because the dialogue goes so fast. I was thinking, so do you have 50 pages and you read it just faster? Is that the way it works?
No. These scripts are 32, 33 pages. We really wanted to be very dense and quick. And it felt like, even though it's on Hulu, and so we don't have Hulu has commercial breaks, but we don't have to stick to the 21-minute thing, which you do in network TV. Both Justin and Mike and I really felt like these episodes should fly along. They should be 22 minutes at most, and they should be fun and outrageous. And, we wanted something, Mike said this from the very beginning, this should be just a joy to watch. It should be light and fun to watch, and I think sometimes that's another difference between Rick and Morty. Sometimes we watch Rick and Morty and it's so dense and so intellectual and, it's so interesting in all those episodes. And I think that's one of the other things we wanted to do. We wanted this to just be lighter in a lot of ways.
And I got the vibe that the pupa is like a Maggie Simpson character.
I mean, she's a Maggie Simpson character if Maggie Simpson was one day going to terraform and destroy the Earth. Yes. And had weird, crazy, insane powers. If you haven't watched episode 8, there's a great story in episode 8 with the pupa where you get to see some of their powers. But yeah, the pupa is such a fun character.
Are we going to have a Fun Bucket plush in time for the holidays?
I mean, we should have a pupa, definitely.
I like that catchphrase.
Oh yeah, he's got a bunch of them.
You have to watch all of these episodes, Terry. I need to learn everything about Fun Bucket.
And a Fun Bucket would be great too, but the pupa I feel like should sell millions. There should be millions and millions of pupas in every household.
Well, we're all quarantined, Josh, and I've been going to Comic-Con for the last few years. And did you guys have plans for WonderCon or Comic-Con this year in San Diego?
Well, we hadn't even gotten there yet, but we did something at Comic-Con last year, and we had a great response. And I think we would have had a big thing at Comic-Con this year for sure.
Well, they're doing virtual panels, so are you guys going to maybe
yeah,
they asked you?
We've already talked about that at WonderCon a little bit. It's such a bummer. Comic-Con I've gone to Comic-Con with American Dad and I went with Psych, and it's just a great thing. It's such a fun, great moment and everyone coming together. And so I myself was super disappointed. I mean, we were supposed to premiere the show at South by Southwest in March, which would have been really cool too. But look, I mean, we're very blessed and lucky that the show is ready to come out at least.
Well, finally today, you're executive producer on this series. So exactly what does an executive producer do on an animated series?
Well, I'm one of the showrunners with Mike. And, so our jobs are really we're sort of in charge of all the writing. So we're in charge of all the breaking of the stories and all of, we either write the scripts or rewrite the scripts after the writers have written them, with Justin and going, Justin sees everything and is involved in all of the writing. And then so that's the writing part of it. And then we're also sort of in charge of all the animation. So we have directors and we have animation directors, but pretty much none of it goes through without Mike, Justin, or I seeing it. So it's all the design, it's all the storyboards, it's all the character design, it's each step of the way. We're really involved in all that stuff. It's one of the reasons I love animation, just because, you get to see everything.
And with Rick and Morty coming out in drabs and so slow as molasses, this is a great escape to still get the Rick and Morty vibe, the humor. It really is a great substitute for that, but it's got its own vibe. And I mean, I had so much fun watching this, man. It's a great.
Oh, you get it. I mean, I think you got it right from the beginning, which is we're not trying to replace Rick and Morty. We're trying to be a companion to it. We love Rick and Morty and it's coming out. I think there's 5 more episodes coming out really soon. And, it's a totally, it's a different staff and a different crew. So one doesn't really affect the other, but, especially as someone who worked on American Dad, it's always great to be connected to something that's a massive hit, because in this world now where it's so hard to break through, you might as well have a little help.
Well, you guys did a great job. It was worth the wait. And thanks for talking to me today. And
absolutely, man.
When Vegas reopens, you got to come visit us.
I will. Absolutely. Thank you. Stay safe, man.
I've been stranded here for a year. How was that not a problem for you?